Hey you guys, it's Daniel. So, just in case anybody out there's thinking I'm just swapping the handguard back and forth, there's both of them side by side. It's with the shorter mags. I don't know, like, all right. So the shorter the Grizzin mags on these, anybody that's getting ready to do a M17 or anything, definitely those are what you want. Unless you're going to convert it to the SMG, which I think Donnie's probably going to do that with success to the Joker, since I found out the part that I had left out of it in the box after I had tried to do it and then give up and put it back the other way and sent it sent it to Donnie. I found like part of the kit that I had not installed because it was still in the box. Anyway, all right. So here are these. So this is going to be Seth's. I'm working on it. I've been trying out some different, hand guards, or not hand guards, but trying out different vertical grips and hand stops and stuff. I've got one I like, but I don't know. I think I can do better. This one, so I've put the 14-inch barrel back on this one. So this is the Calico Jack, but it's just got the regular tank on it. So we were talking about co-witnessing and stuff earlier. So I was this is obviously going to be a co-witness setup, and it still will be. But when I went to co-witness it, I sighted in the red dot already. I just sighted it in that way. But I went to just move the iron sights to co-witness them, and the problem is, if you see your front sight disappears below that. And what I was talking about, a 1/3 lower co-witness, you're pulling, your sights way down to the bottom. I'm getting ready to show you guys a good example of that. But the thing of it is, in this setup, these sights are so high. So to do a 1/3 co-witness, like what I was talking about in the other video, you use a taller riser to get your red dot up so it's in that line. And the VKS, I mean not the VKS, the M17s, and if I called them that again, I don't know. Yeah, I've been calling everything wrong tonight, but they have a very tall. They're not a AR-15 height sight, which I found that out with the Joker too, and I kind of forgot about it actually. So I've got to do one of two things, and I do have a taller riser. Hopefully it will raise it up enough to get it in the sight plane, but if not, then I will have to put some different sights on it. So we'll see, and if I do, then those will be the UTGs, but that's just part of it, I guess. So we'll see. This one. This one's gonna be, now that I'm thinking about it, this one's gonna have to have different sights because that UTG is a very low mount. So guys, like your EOTechs and stuff like that, an EOTech is alright. An EOTech, alright. So an EOTech, this is a real EOTech. An EOTech sits like higher, like it's like it's on its own riser anyway. See how high it sits up, because it is set so that it will co-witness with AR-15 sights. They're designed to do that. Your like micro red dots and stuff, you have to put on a riser that's high enough to get it to the right level. So that UTG is actually sitting right, sitting down like that. So you look at a red dot like, oh, what? You guys don't have a VKS on a turret in your basement living room? Well, But you look at the riser and stuff on this, see how high up that is? Well, that's the factory riser that comes with the Vortex Strike Fire 2, because it's made to have that co-witness. And here we go. Hopefully I'm going to be able to show you guys a little better example here. But let's cut the green on. So these are a red green red dot. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, so for anybody that doesn't know, when you're co-witnessing in general, you're putting your iron sight, so your rear sight and your front sight, and your red dot, you're lining them all up. Now I intentionally moved this one so that I could show you guys. Sorry. So I intentionally moved this one so I could show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you sight this in, if you were to sight this red dot in and have it dead on, okay. So if you were to sight this in and have it dead on by your red dot, and you wanted to co-witness your iron sights, so you would have to actually move. Well, you wouldn't want to move your red dot. Let's say you got your iron sight sighted in or whatever. You do the opposite of this. So yeah, okay. Well, I don't need to show you that. Let me show you this way. So let's say the red dot's sighted in. So the red dot's sighted in, which it's easier to sight in a red dot than it is iron sights. But everybody should learn how to shoot iron sights. Okay, so there's how your sight picture is going to look. That's your sight picture. But your red dot is not where it should be. It should be like a lollipop over the post that you see sticking up. Okay. So all you're gonna do is just adjust your rear sight until it matches up. This is weird in the camera. So you know, to your windage, as you call it, which is your adjustment from right to left to where it adds up. So you see that. So I've turned my rear till it like matches up. So luckily the front matches up where it's supposed to be. It's already there. But if not, I would have to, to adjust the front side adjusts up and down, and then the back side adjusts right and left. So I would have to move the front side up or down to make it to where it basically looks like that. And if you were looking at a target, you would have your bullseye obviously where that little green dot is, which is also at the top of your sights there. Okay. Now, when you're doing a co-witness, this is a lower 1/3 co-witness. So you see how the sight picture, everything that's going on with your red dots way down in the bottom of the scope. Okay, so that's a 1/3 co-witness. Okay, so when I want to, if I'm not having to use my iron sights, like let's say we're dealing with something that doesn't have fold down sights. Okay, that's when this really comes into play, because if I want to have a clear field of view on this, I just flip the sights down, and if my battery dies or whatever, I'm just going to flip them back up. Okay, now let's say with an A2 setup or something, it's got a fixed sight or whatever. Okay, if you co-witness those, that's when you want to use the 1/3 lower co-witness, because then when you're not looking through the rear, because the front sight and the rear sight have to both be part of the equation if you don't have the red dot on. You cannot, like, the front sight and the rear sight not used together mean nothing. So when you're down on this plane where you're using both of them, you got your vision, down at the bottom. Okay, you don't need the rear sight when your red dot's functioning. You don't need the front sight when your red dot's functioning. The front sight and your red dot have no correlation to each other whatsoever, other than the fact that when you're on target with your iron sights, then it should also be on target. Therefore, they show up like what you're seeing. But there's no correlation with the red dot and the front sight. You sight in the red dot, then you sight in your iron sights. Okay, so when you're not using the iron sights and you come up like this, because you're not going to be hunkered down using that rear sight, you're going to be looking over it. So you see what happens? So now, instead of all this stuff in your field of view and it down here, you can move anywhere because the red dot don't matter. You don't need either sight for the red dot to work. So you can change the angle of your view and you've got a lot more freedom to move around. But, you know, if you want to check to see if everything's still... See, what's good about this, you have this like a home defense gun or whatever. You pick it up, and as long as you look through it and everything lines up like that, you know you're still on target. You know if you look through it and stuff don't line up, that one of the two, either your sights or your red dot has got moved somewhere and you need to re-sight in your rifle. Now, I'm a shooter. Like I've done like competition shooting since I was like in elementary school. So iron sights to me are like nothing, but I totally get it that like some people that they're a little bit intimidating sometimes. And you know, I mean, for home defense and stuff, it's not it's not the same. If you're talking about a duty rifle and you're going to be out being shot at with like real guns and shooting back with real guns, and you know, you better know how to use iron sights. I mean, it would just be stupid not to. I mean, it just, you know. But I get it in the home defense situation that some people could care less, but truthfully, it has advantages to it other than just the if your battery dies in the middle of using it or whatever. And I think the checking your zero is a big one. And then the other really big advantage to doing this, as long as you keep one of those zeroed, I can change my iron sights and re-zero them, or I can change my red dot and re-zero it. As long as I leave one of the two zeroed, I can change something else and zero it to whichever one I left on, and it's easy changing optics, and you know, you're good to go. So there you go. Bye.